So I think we're running out of time for the questions we have prepared here. So now we're gonna start making questions from the audience right now. I think we have space for 1 or 2 questions. So, does anyone have a question that you'd like to ask to now? Yeah, we have a question.
Well, my name is Arnoldo, and I'm co-founder of a company named ERA. We commercialize renewable energy products. And well, my question is, judging from how the market has been behaving and how technology has been so rapidly evolving, what is your best bet on investment regarding innovation?
Well, today during lunch we were listening to a story about someone who's going to mine asteroids. So I think space is the new frontier. There's a lot there. I don't know. I think that innovation is happening on all fronts, and that's one of the wonderful things about innovation is that it doesn't matter what you're doing today, there's a better way to do it. The question is always going to be how big is that market? We got into the video space, and although we're not exactly doing what we decided to do early on, we knew we had the right team, but we also knew that we had a $400 billion a year industry in DVDs, in cable, in TV advertising that was all going to go digital. And so we knew that innovation was going to happen there, and we just kind of pointed in that direction. But you better be sure that like in 10 years, there's still going to be innovation happening in the video space. Now, is it still going to be a $400 billion opportunity? I don't know.
I've been impressed with how traditional business models can take off in emerging markets. And so it's not always a bet on what's the next great technology, but identifying something that has worked in another market and figuring out how to tropicalize it or adjust it for the market you're in. And I've seen a lot of businesses fail trying to build the next technology, and I've also seen a lot of fantastic businesses that are traditional business models that have incredible returns when they found a growth market. And the emerging markets is where the growth is at. So I wouldn't bet necessarily on the next innovation so much as where's the pain and how can it be solved. And sometimes that requires innovation in technology, sometimes it requires innovation in the business model. But how can you identify a big problem and solve it is the big question.
Well, I started talking about clean tech just a moment ago, and that's one of the sectors that have fascinated me, and the reason is simple. There is a several $trillion industry out there which is terribly inefficient, and it has many of the, for example, the electric grid has been there for 50+ years. And then there is a demand for energy that will double in the next 10 years. And the reason is that you have not only 6 million people, but several 100 million people in Asia mainly, and Latin America too, moving into the middle class, and now wanting to have a refrigerator, a microwave, a car, and all the things that we're used to now. And so there is just a astonished demand for energy, and there is just no resource available to provide it as of now. So, we will continue to burn all that oil, burn all that gas to generate electricity, but we will need to find better sources, and we'll need to squeeze every point of efficiency that there is in the existing system, in the legacy system. So there are many clever ideas out there tackling big problems, multi-billion-dollar problems. And well, it's interesting to see which technologies are going to be the winners there. And I think that in this case, if you get a 5% improvement in something in the energy sector, you're golden. So I think there's a big opportunity there.
And also, as part of Time Warner, they asked us to invest in some companies in the region. And I do agree with what has been said here in the panel, that tropicalization could be also an option. For example, in Time Warner, they tell us, right, so media is going to general news, sports, employment, right? So we do look for companies that tropicalize these business models in the first world. And we're doing it the greatest in the emerging worlds. So there's also a big opportunity over there.
Another question over there?
Hey, biggest mistakes that you see first-time entrepreneurs make consistently?
Here, just quick, they lose focus. They get very excited, they get emotional, and they say, okay, so yes, I want to do that, but if I put this plugin, and then this plugin, and then this plugin, and then I can make a Superman, then everything goes wrong.
Well, I would say that maybe I think the best deal. I would say the good deal is the best deal is the worst enemy of the good deal. I think many people walk away from good opportunities when they have them, and then it's just sometimes not all the ingredients are there, but you have to go with it. And one of the things that I found, particularly in Mexico, is that you see a lot of these success stories. I think some of the investors are more and more sophisticated. I see that some of the entrepreneurs sometimes either don't have the advice or don't have the knowledge themselves to put together a deal, and I've seen this happening many times, that it's just, in this case, having all the ingredients ready, but just the deal is not coming through because just maybe the finance is wrong, the legal is wrong, the shareholder rights are not something that both sides want to live with, and it's a pity because just some opportunities are left there without coming through.
Can I give a list?
Sure.
So I think back to the Superman comment. I think not being willing to fail fast is a bit of an issue that I've seen. And I've seen people who are kind of like one of those little remote control cars that don't have reverse and just keep bouncing off of a wall. And they continue hitting up against that wall, and eventually the venture capital runs out or the angel investment runs out and they have nowhere else to go. So I think it's important to fail quickly and to understand that you're failing so you can pivot and actually move in an opposite direction or a different direction, or decide to move with something else. I think another area that entrepreneurs that are on their way to building a very successful company, especially the ones that are building a very successful company very quickly, is that they hire the wrong people. Especially in the early days, every single person you hire is a foundation for the company that you're going to build. And so culture is extremely important. So as you're hiring employees, you're basically hiring co-founders. Because if a company is going to be around for 15 years, the first 2 years are still the founding years. And you want people who are going to be able to build on that. And I think that is the most important part. And I used to think it was really cliche to say that it's all about the people, but it really is all about the people. And you want to make sure that in the early days that you have a bunch of Che Guevaras, a bunch of revolutionaries who are going to own the initiative and really take it and build something with it. The last one I'll say is, in the early days, when you're just trying to launch a business and get customers and get logos, make sure that you read legal contracts, because there have been tons of companies all around the world who have basically sold away the rights to a product or to a business or to further execution and evolution of a product to get that one customer in the early days. And even though you may be willing to take on that first deal, you need to make sure that it is plodding a way to success and not potentially detracting from the potential of your business.
I would just add that there's a term that we use in the industry called cap table damage. The cap table it shows how ownership changes as money comes into the company. And cap table damage happens early on when somebody negotiates crazy terms that are outside of what what would be considered industry standard terms. So, or they gave a chunk of the company to their brother who doesn't really bring a lot of value. And in Bismarck's case, you happen to have a genius brother. And so, if you've got that, great. But I think that sometimes you see entrepreneurs where they want to form a club almost because they don't have the money to hire the best people. At least they don't think they can get the best people. And so they bring people on that are willing to work for free, but they're actually just looking to kind of hang out. And so, and then they give ownership of the company. That's really when the company very early on becomes uninvestable for us. Is you see, there's people that own significant portion of the company that they don't really bring value to the company. So I think that I do like the advice of if you have somebody that you're going to give 10% to that could be a founder, why don't you go find a 50-50 partner that's really going to bring a lot of value? Because if you have people that are own the company that they're not really bringing value, and also if you take money from a source that isn't reputable, no reputable fund won't want to put money in next to somebody that doesn't have a good reputation, and it opens the door for lawsuits. Particularly in the United States, you have to raise money from accredited investors, and so you can actually open yourself all sorts of problems if you don't raise from the right people. So I guess my advice would just be make friends with a sophisticated investor who's not trying to negotiate a deal with you, but he just wants somebody that you can bounce ideas off and get honest feedback on before you let anybody onto the cap table. Run that by people that can give you solid